What's up, athletes, and welcome to Portrait of a Ghost. This is another Scream Jam game. I don't know anything about it. Let's hit start. It's a visual novel. Part 1. How to Profit Off of Grief. Right this way, madame. Please make yourself comfortable. I'm assuming that's a girl. But why don't we have a chat before we begin? Tell me more about your dear husband. There, yes, bless his poor soul. In a modest sitting room with curtains open to the afternoon sun, the window perched like a shadow in the arm of a plush velvet seat. With her veil pulled back from her head, delicate fingers clutching the handkerchief she brought repeatedly to her large, sorrowful eyes, she made the perfect image, picture perfect, of the poor grieving soul that the gentleman sitting before her so often received. A poet might have described her glistening eyes as deep pools of wretched misery, or oceans that had no end. But Arthur Hope was not a poet. His only observation about the woman's face was his hope that she wouldn't burst into tears during the sitting. I guess I'm a dude, so I shouldn't have done the girl voice. Arthur made his living off of grief, of course, but dealing with the grieving was a rather tiresome facet of his profession. As the widow went on about her poor deceased lover, his gentle and charitable nature, and so on, he carefully prodded her now and again about the man's general features, forming an image in his head of how best to shape his next creation. A young man with a lion's mane of long hair, average height, deep-set eyes. I'm sure I have a plate matching that description somewhere. It's a good thing I can pull off a wig. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I have a real picture to take first. There's so many things I wish I had said to him. Oh, he told me not to worry, but I'm sure he was a wonderful man, madame. I am so sorry once again for your loss. You know, I always tell my clients I can never guarantee when my camera might capture a spirit. But today I feel almost certain he might be in the room with us. Wait, is this me? Why don't we take your picture now and see for ourselves? Oh, yes, of course. Make yourself at home. I'll be right back. What? Oh, okay. Oh, what the why is this inverted? What, no. What do I do? Auto? Auto forward? I have to do something. Turn off auto. Oh. That should leave enough space to add a spirit. We're ready to begin. Please stay still until I tell you when the exposure is complete. Alright. If you're there, my darling, please show yourself, please. Arthur Hope hadn't always been a charlatan. Once he had been Artie, a shy and painfully honest boy with angelic blue eyes and a limitless imagination. He spent every chance he could in his uncle's library, losing himself in stories of monsters and ghosts. They were never so frightening as the real world around him, he could honestly say. Honesty, however, would rarely turn out to help him. Honesty had not stopped his uncle's cane, nor his withering looks. It did not protect him from his schoolmates' vicious pranks, nor impress the teachers. Gray, hollowed men, with thinning hair and thick spectacles, at the various boarding schools that always inevitably sent him back home. It hadn't always been his fault. One had simply closed due to an unfortunate scarlet fever outbreak. I like the developer putting that subnote, that footnote in, like, oh, don't worry, it wasn't always his fault. I don't know, that's funny. I've never seen a visual novel do that before. No, it was a liar's world, and by the time Arthur Hope first found himself behind the lens of his late uncle's sliding box camera, he'd built, if not a kingdom of lies, then at least a Barney. This is too British for me. At just shy of 30, his schemes had brought him an unsteady income and the regard of a handful of influential friends. Few of whom knew his background or how much he'd truly borrowed from them. Arthur's uncle had taken up photography late in his life, and having no family save for his troublesome nephew, had left the young man the aging house he'd turned into his studio, along with a small fortune and equipment after his slow and drawn-out death. Arthur had had little interest in the profession beforehand, but even he could not resist the allure of the burgeoning technology that was so much like magic. Capturing light through a mechanical eye, perfectly preserving an image of the world a single moment in time, it was something just like the tales of wonder he grew up on. The ability to capture his own likeness was, of course, its own draw. He had a fair face, he was not shy to admit, and would like a reminder of it should he ever have the misfortune of living a long life. That's fair. That is so fair. I still look at my old driver's license because I had hair then. I had hair right here. Carefully, he slid the plate holder out from the camera's wooden frame. A pile of discarded glass plates and blurry album prints? What is that? Album prints sat on a table beside him, the fruits of his earlier attempts. I have a good feeling about this one. Let's get you to the dark room, shall we? It was as the print developed in the early afternoon sun that Arthur Hope saw his uncle's ghost in the frame beside him. Spirit caught on camera. Okay. Oh. A photographer captures ghostly image. Ghost photographs shocked world. Spirit photography, the man behind the camera. Okay. It was only after a sleepless night of waiting for a spirit to accost him, and then furiously rifling through his uncle's equipment, that he realized he'd made a simple and perfectly ordinary mistake. Photographic plates have to be cleaned very thoroughly to remove any imprint left behind by a previous negative. Arthur, an amateur, had not done so. Thus, a trace of one of his uncle's self-portraits remained on the glass plate he'd used for his own. But the fact the image had lined up so perfectly was nothing short of a miracle. A miracle that sparked the idea for a brand new, lucrative story in Arthur's mind. "It's him! Oh, my darling, I knew you were with me all this time. Thank you, Mr. Hope, thank you. He looks so peaceful, I don't know what to say." Overwhelmed, the widow began to sob. Arthur patted her back gently. "I can earn more if I make them come back for a sitting or two before I give them a spirit, but gah, I feel sorry for her this time. I'm growing soft." "Not at all, madame. It brings me joy to know you have a guardian spirit watching you even beyond the grave. I can be at peace now, thanks to you. Please take this." Oh, that's her. "I can be at peace now, thanks to you. Please take this." She handed him a stack of crisp banknotes, far more than the agreed upon sum. I can't possibly, madame. I insist. Ha! Not a bad use of time after all. Part 2, Portrait of a Girl. Late in an evening, a knock came at Arthur's door. The widow had been his last appointment of the day, but it was all too common for unwanted visitors to arrive long after closing. Sometimes it was the press, sometimes an angry septic? Septic? Okay. Sometimes a wretched, grieving soul who would beg for his charity. Arthur. You know what? Let's head to the door. Crept down the staircase to the entryway of the old house and quietly approached the door. He carefully looked through the spy hole. Stood there in the rain was a girl. She didn't seem to have an umbrella or raincoat. It was a miracle she wasn't drenched thoroughly. Perhaps she'd arrived by carriage. But Arthur hadn't heard one approaching, and none were stopped in the street. Tap, tap, tap. Once more she rapped on his door. Arthur wondered how long she'd been standing there. He decided to ignore her. Open the door. Why not? With some hesitation, Arthur swung the door open. Can I help you, miss? In the gloom of the rain, lit with only the light coming from the hall, the young woman was surprisingly lovely. She looked about 20, with a face so fair she could have been a porcelain doll, if not for the deep brown eyes that stared so intently from behind her dark lashes. Okay. Locks of her chestnut hair spilled from a bonnet trimmed with wide ribbons and silk roses. Her gown was made of a rich green satin. Satan? Is that... what? Okay, this is too British for me. And fine white lace, and looked expensive, yet at least a decade out of style. The girl clearly came from money, but it seemed that she, or her guardians, had dated tastes? What? First, excuse me. Second, what? What does this mean? Okay, maybe I'm too This is too British for me, or I'm too stupid. Are you the photographer? Her voice was soft, but did not betray any nervousness. Her brown eyes stared right at him, almost. Arthur felt straight through. Almost. Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. Her brown eyes stared right at him. Almost, Arthur felt straight through him. Well, yes, but my friends call me Arthur. I don't wish to become your friend, sir. But if you are indeed who you say you are, then I require your services. Making demands straight away, eh? Definitely a rich lass, perhaps even high-born. In that case, best to hear her out. What can I do for you, miss? You're the photographer, are you not? I need you to take my picture. I'd be happy to make an appointment with you, miss, but I can't guarantee a spirit will appear. I don't want anyone or anything else in the photograph. I just need my picture taken. A likely story. She wouldn't be the first to ask for a simple, ordinary sitting while secretly hoping for a ghost to appear. Well, I'm fully booked for quite a while, but I'd be happy to arrange a sitting. You have no one with you now, so why can't you take my picture? Miss, it's late. Lamplight makes for a poor image, and I'd have to wait until daylight to make the print in any case. I also emphasize how inappropriate it is for a young lady to call upon a man uninvited after dark. Please. One picture, it's all I ask. Please, I've been waiting so very long. Gah! I should. No, you shouldn't. Oh, okay. You know what? Let's go simp mode. Can I at least ask why you need a photograph so badly?
There's somebody I must send my picture to. Somebody who I haven't seen in a very long time, who needs to see how I look now. How I've changed.
There are plenty of other studios that could accommodate you.
None of them would open their doors to me. None of them are like you. There truly is nobody in the world like you, sir.
Well, if there's anything I can't resist besides a large purse, it's flattery. And let's admit it, that sweet face isn't an easy one to refuse. I beg to differ. Being around sobbing fools all day really has turned me soft. Fine, you've convinced me. Please step this way, miss.
Edith. Edith Harper.
Can I offer you any tea?
None, thank you. Please, can we hurry?
As you wish. Okay. Oh, there we go. I don't know what I just did, but I took the picture somehow. We'll need more candles. I can't get an image like this.
Technology is awfully inconvenient.
You could have come during daylight, you know. Wait, where'd she go?
Are you ready yet?
Yes, we can begin now. What's come over me? First, I let some arrogant, ill-mannered girl walk over me like a carpet, and now I'm seeing things. 59:60. Done. You can move now, miss.
That's it? Good.
I'll prepare a plate now, but again, you'll have to come back tomorrow for the print, Miss Harper. I open at...
I'll visit you at the same time tomorrow evening. Good night, sir.
Wait. No, I didn't. You know what? Simp mode. Do you need me to call you a carriage? It's awfully rainy.
Oh, that's sweet of you, but decorum isn't necessary. You don't have to act concerned for me.
She smiled a little sadly, but quickly turned her back and again headed for the doorway.
I'll be back soon. Good night.
Disregarding his protests, she slipped from the room through the entryway and out the front door into the rainy night. She didn't even ask to borrow an umbrella. Damn it, I forgot to discuss payment too. Well, hopefully she brings enough with her tomorrow. Now I have to get this plate ready before it dries, but after that, perhaps I'll retire early. It certainly has been an interesting night. Okay, the camera mechanics don't make a lot of sense, but... That night, Arthur Hope had strange dreams. Part 3, Phantoms. A chill wind rocked the house, rapping against the walls. Figures crept around the edges of Arthur's vision, flickering like flames, dancing like fireflies. A weight covered his entire body. He could not shift or twist his limbs. The blankets engulfing him felt like earth packed with stones. Heavy, cold, damp. That's what she said. Something wriggled under his clothes, creeping up his neck, over the side of his cheek, into his eye sockets. Ew. Another crawled into his open mouth, slithering down his windpipe. He tried to scream, but not a sound came. His jaw was locked in place. His lungs were still. More writhing things engulfed him, eating at his flesh, digging between his bones. Arthur jerked violently out of bed, gasping. Cold air filled his lungs, bringing him back into the waking world. He rubbed his eyes, then struck a match and lit the candle at his bedside table. The flame danced as he lifted it, gingerly, in the dark. No use trying to go back to sleep after that. Water first, then I'll head to my study and read. Creak. What? Tap, tap, tap. A noise rang out in the dark. Arthur listened, sure it must have been the rain on the roof or a shutter against the windows. Tap, tap, tap. Creak. But the sound was too quiet to come from outside. No, it was more like tap, 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 tap. Footfalls, the creaking of a floorboard. Good gods, did someone break in while I was asleep? Quietly, Arthur reached beside his bed for the familiar weight of his uncle's cane, then carefully, cautiously stood up. Oh, I move around? What do I do? Okay, this... Whoops. Okay, this whole camera moving mechanic makes little sense. I don't understand what I'm supposed to be trying to do here. Okay, I don't know what to do. I've been clicking around here for the past, 5 minutes, and nothing's happened. I don't know if the game's bugged or what, but, I'm just gonna have to end this here, because I don't know what to do. Which kind of sucks. I was getting into this, but... Oh well. That was Portrait of a Ghost. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're new. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.